made off my page is like 60.
Teach me again. I need you.
I teach the game, but yeah. So
ready? Hey, welcome to the H.O.T Podcast. Listen, today is a very, very, very special day here at the H.O.T Podcast. H.O.T stands for the House of Transformation. We have a special guest. First is our sis co-host Cornella Lee is in the building. Let's thank God for her. Let's clap for her right at home. Then listen, we have a very special guest. The man is in the building. Traylon Curry is in the building. Listen, this guy says what I want to say that I can't say because I'm a pastor. Amen. And so, that's my alter ego. Amen.
You know I used to preach, right?
Listen, you preach every day.
I'm just being real, though. I'm talking about behind the pulpit.
Behind the pulpit. Okay.
Wow.
Well, see, I didn't know that.
I was a licensed minister, all that.
Really?
Yeah. I was almost the assistant pastor.
Really?
Yeah. I had an online ministry for a minute.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. So we learned this stuff already.
Jack of all trades.
You know what? But I can see that, Trey. I can tell you, I can see that, and that's why I listen. I'm telling you, I really like listening to your podcast. I like listening to your lives. I like going on Men's Viewpoint. I'm telling all of you, get on Men's Viewpoint. You'll hear some things, listen, that'll really, really open your perspective and change.
I didn't know you watched Men's Viewpoint, man.
Yeah, man. I'm always on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always on there. I'm always checking you out. Always. And so it's something that really is I'm really starting to see it in a new perception, because it really starting to change some people's lives. Those people that's watching those things, their lives, they're really getting new perceptions, new viewpoints, and seeing things different ways. And I don't know if you're seeing it. I can see in the comments.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how they seeing their thing. So I really love your realness, and I really love how you go about talking. See, I think the world has gotten, and we're gonna get into this, too sensitive.
Yeah.
And what I like about your live is, for some people, and I was talking to Cornella about this, because some people don't like bluntness. Cornella is that type of person. She's blunt. She says what was on her mind, and some people don't understand. To me, that's real love. Okay. See, when somebody can come and tell you straight how it is, they really love you.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need. We need more people that's able to say, hey, this is what it is. Now, and just because I say this way, don't mean I don't like you.
True.
Don't mean I don't have love for you. As a matter of fact, I have love for you. That's why I'm trying to say it in a way so you can understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
So I want us to talk about this Sunday, shameless plug. This Sunday, we starting a new series, Going for the Goal. We talking about Open the Door at 11 a.m. this Sunday. I'm telling you want to be there. And then next Sunday on the 12th, make sure you wear your jerseys. We're going to be celebrating all of our teams. So whatever team you celebrate on the 12th, make sure you come through. Listen, I want to get this started, and we want to first start talking about online dating. That's the first thing we want to talk about. Cornella, what you have for online dating? I'm going to let you go first.
Well, for me, online dating is very interesting, and that's part of what, the society is going toward, these days. For me, I wouldn't do it. I want to see your face, and I want to have a eye-to-eye. You got to sit across the table for me to see which I like. I observe body language and all of that. So when you online dating, you can just be whoever, just like social media. That some of these create lifestyles that ain't even really them. That's how I see online dating. You can create it to be whoever you want it to be. And then with online dating, you get a lot of catfishing.
Yeah.
That's going on.
Yeah.
But see, you can't catfish a person you sitting right next to talking to. So for me, I wouldn't do it.
So Trey, what you say? Have you ever online dated? Give me your take on it. Yeah. How it is.
Especially when I was out in them streets, man. Plenty of fish. MySpace, Facebook for a minute. Yeah, I did a whole bunch of online dating, boy.
And so how do you feel about it? You think it works? It don't work?
Well, I wasn't trying to do nothing serious anyway. I was smashing and gashing. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I wasn't looking for no relationship. I was just trying to see how many fish I can get out to sea. Keep it simple. Now, but in the process of me running across a young lady, if I'm online dating, if she has what it takes to pique my interest, then of course I continue to deal with her or date her. So I have met women off the internet or different social sites that piqued my interest, and we had some good times and we vibe real good. So it just depends on the individual. It's not online dating that's the issue. It's the individual, because it's just like Canella. She meet a man, like she can meet a man in person. If that man don't pique her interest, then guess what? She gonna move on to the next one.
Absolutely.
Right.
So it's not about online dating. It's all about the individual. Because me, I'm like her. At the end of the day, my thing is I need to see you.
Right.
I need to rub your skin out and smell you. I need to look at your restroom. I need to look. Listen, I go in the woman house first. I look at the door panels on the wall.
Right.
See if they clean it.
Touch that
See if they clean or not, man. Yeah, man. You know, so yeah, so you know, you can hide on so long, mess with a man like me. I'm gonna read through all that.
So look, I saw on your page the other day, I think it was yesterday. What is a wife?
I just got off live talking about it again.
Listen, I need you to talk about that. That was crazy.
Now,
what is a wife to you?
You got to see the one we just did, though. I did it on the way over here. It was
Really?
crazy. Yeah, you got to see that one.
What is a wife to you?
A wife to me, man, it's subjective. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you evolve as a human being. Like, I've been divorced, about 4.5 years, something like that. And my needs are just like, you know, my tax bracket is different from when I was married. You know, so my needs, my wants, and my desires change as my money change.
Absolutely.
I haven't changed as an individual,
Right.
but you got to think about it. Like, a lot of people, watch this. And I want y'all to stay with me. When you struggling, you really don't see a lot.
Absolutely.
Because you so busy working and trying to do this and especially when you're an entrepreneur. It's just like you're a pastor. You're doing this and you're doing it. You all over the place. You're dealing with people issues, et cetera, et cetera. Right. You spread thin. So you can be in a relationship with a woman, but I don't know what situation. I don't want to go.
Divorced.
Okay, divorced like me. Okay, so you can be in a situation and miss so much. Mm-hmm. Because you're so focused on helping everybody else and you're trying to grow your business. You're doing the podcast. You're doing so much. And you can have a woman, she cooking, cleaning, washing, and she just meeting your needs at the time.
Right.
But then when your money change and, you know, you go to another level and you can kind of relax, you start saying, hold on now. I didn't see that. Because now I got time to really look at you.
Absolutely.
But when I'm on the grind, I'm shaking and moving, I'm hurting. I'm just basically enjoying what I get.
Yeah.
But also I think that comes from the woman not even paying attention and not growing with you.
Come on now.
Because if she grows with you, then it won't be a problem. She changed where you change. You grow where you grow.
But Canella, watch this. But the crazy thing is that so many women stop.
Absolutely. They get complacent. They get comfortable.
They get entitled. Because watch this. Listen.
That's good.
Like my partner told me, he said, bro, listen. He said, bro, I'm married, bro, but my wife got to still compete.
Absolutely. They forget that,
Wow.
You still got to dress up.
I need a hot bomb on that, Calvin. Hot bomb.
No, I'm serious. I like that.
You do have to compete. You got to remember that as he grow, he's going to see more women that take, better care of themselves and better quality clothes and things. And perception is everything. So you have to understand where he's going and stay with him. And I'm talking about like when you get invited to a party and it's $150 to get in. You already know. You got to come to look in the
That's
party.
a different caliber of woman in there.
Absolutely.
Bro, I'm serious.
It is.
I'm telling you. So why your wife all cute and being out, baby, hold on now. No, and I done got invited, just by a friend. I walk around these senators.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about single and bad at the same time. They got pull.
Wow.
They got resources.
Right.
Hey, man, all right, keep playing.
Yeah. While he's doing the business, you should be educating and resourcing yourself as well to where you know how to grow with him.
So do you feel like, because it seems like today's generation don't really know what real love is. How do you feel about
Well, see, now when we start talking about love, we got to go with God. And the reason that because God is love. And I always teach people, especially single people and people in marriages, that you got to understand what love is. And if you cannot identify the sacrifices in your relationship, there is no love. How did God show his ultimate display of love. That was sacrifice. He gave a sacrifice, ultimate sacrifice. So I always tell people, hey, you'll know the person that you're partnering with or in a relationship with or married to, you'll know the love if you can identify the sacrifices.
That's good stuff.
That's good.
That's real good.
I agree.
That's real good. And if they're not sacrificing, maybe they don't really love you.
Well, we understand that if we're gonna go with the different meanings of love, because we already understand the stereo,
Right.
phileo, all that. So if we're gonna go deep, we can go all the way.
Right.
But where you can identify the type of love. But there's only one true love,
Agape.
which is agape, period. And that's the sacrificial love. So if you cannot identify, it's like, I don't know her, but I have a phileo.
Right.
Just because of me and you cool.
Right.
Just based off me, okay,
Right.
you rocking with her. Well, I have a phileo. I have a friendly love for her off the muscle. It's not she don't have to work for it. You see what I'm saying? But she can't identify no sacrifices with me and her.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, as like if she was on the side of the road, that ain't no sacrifice. I'd do that for any woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But paying her bills, then hold on now. Because I ain't paying nobody bills but one woman. You feel what I'm saying?
So I want to get to that. Should a man pay all the bills?
That's in my opinion, my brother, is subjective to everybody's situation and everybody's relationship, because there was a time where when I was in the streets and hustling and stuff, I had more money than I was out. Then my ex-wife was like, Trey, listen, I can't be around this type of mess, right? So I got out the street, had a little money saved up, boom, ended up getting a house. End up losing my house eventually. Lost both my cars. Well, I had 4 cars. I lost all my cars because I told God I'm not going back to the streets, right? So I said, God, I don't care. I got money saved up, but I didn't know it was going to dwindle that fast. You know what I mean? I had about 30,000 saved up from hustling. I don't think that was too bad for the hustle. But the money diminished, right? Mm-hmm. So then, I had put up through beauty school at the time when I was in the streets, and then I had bought a salon. So when I got out the streets, I calculated everything. Then the roles reversed. She had to hold me down. You see what I'm saying? So, but then when I got back up, then I got back in position and started back paying the bills. So there's no one set rule when it comes to that, in my opinion.
I think you just got to be adults, and you got to make the best decision. That's whatever's going on in
your household. There you go.
And be adults about it. Because, it's just like saying that, let's just say that you as a husband say, I don't want my wife to work. Because there's a lot of men out there that don't want their wives to work.
Yeah.
But however, there comes a point in time where you may get sick and you may not be able to work. But if you allowed this woman to sit at home and not work, then where's the money going to come from if you're not responsible enough to save? And again, if you even do save, if you're not replenishing it, it's going to go. So
I tell women all the time, the worst thing you could do is not bring value to a man.
Thank you.
That's good stuff.
Just because he allow you, just because he don't want you to work, don't mean you have to not work.
Because you know how many women I know that depended solely on a man and ended up getting the short end of the stick.
Every last one of them, just about.
I'm just going to be real with you. So I always tell women, listen, baby, make sure you're making your own money, because when you read Proverbs 31, she wasn't no broke woman. I don't know what Bible y'all been reading.
She was not.
I don't know what scripture, what Bible y'all been reading. But that woman had some paper.
Yeah, she had some
and
money.
that man received praise based off her name.
Right.
Ooh, come on.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That's good.
I'm just saying that scripture was the last time I read.
No, that's some good stuff. So, and this is, you talked about this last week or the week before. I really was interested in this because I feel the same way. How do you feel about men who date young women? Remember you talked about that.
We'll talk about that, but so remember, because I didn't answer your question. So what is a wife, in my opinion? A wife is a woman that's God-led, number one. You have to have some type of spiritual guidance and be tapped into God to really understand what it takes for you to bring value to the man that God allowed to be in your life. So it's a woman that's spiritual, that she brings value to the man. If you're not bringing value to the man, another woman will. Free game. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's some good stuff. So before we get to this, young women, what is a husband?
Okay, a husband is a man that's God-centered. Everything always evolves around God, period, right? You have to be tapped into God. But a husband is a man that brings security.
That's good.
Because every woman needs security based off the way that God designed them as individuals. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because you have to understand, a man let's talk about the real. Let's go back to the real. I could not marry her if I couldn't provide for myself.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because the father had to give her away.
Right.
And I had to present gifts to the father.
Right.
Just to get his daughter. Right. So I don't become her father, but I resume the position of fathering, which she had before she met me. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So that's bringing security in every aspect, because guess what? Before she met me, she called her daddy, and her daddy met her every single need. Mm. So a husband resumes the responsibility of the father and takes on the responsibility of bringing security in every aspect of her life. Now, a man has to let his pride and his ego go and be vulnerable. But a woman has to understand that she has to be wise in getting that man to open up. Because the worst thing you could do is get a man to come to you and you don't listen to him.
Right.
You got one shot. Once you don't listen, we're done. Right? And then what we do is women be like, y'all don't never open up. Well, I tried. Right. And then all men are not the best communicators, right? Absolutely. And so when a woman wants a man to open up and she done shut him down subconsciously and she don't know that, then that man is going to try to do everything on his own. And guess what? He don't want to deal with her because he's processing. Right. He's dealing with this. He's dealing with that. She wants him to let her in, but she done shut him down and she didn't even know. So men, we got to get out of ourselves, and I'm going to be honest with you. And if you entrusted that woman enough to pay her bills and to be with her and to be up on the same roof, brother, you got to be vulnerable and keep those lines of communication over to really talk about your issues. And sometimes we wait for women to talk to us, but sometimes we got to go talk to our woman because they can't read minds. Right. And I feel like we mess up thinking that our beautiful women or women that we're in a relationship with can read minds because we feel like we got it all, or it makes us feel soft, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just, man, it's just a balance, man, a man that listens to God and a man that brings security and that resumes the position of father.
I ditto. I stamp that as approval, definitely.
And hold on, and let me add this part. A man is a nurturer too, and a cultivator. Because me, if anybody know the type of father I am, like I remember when my ex-wife, that postpartum depression kicked in at 4 months, and she was crying and talking about, I can't do this no more. You know how some women be killing their kids, done broke down because they can't handle it. She cried one time. She told me, Trey, I can't handle it no more. I told her, you ain't never got to make another bottle, change another diaper, nothing. I took that position, and if you know me and follow me on social media, you know I don't play no game about being a father. So men need to step up and stop letting the women do everything, in my opinion, when it comes to raising the kids. So a husband is a father that nurtures and cultivates also.
Absolutely.
And Cornell, I'm gonna let you talk about that too for a second.
Well, I mean, I agree. A lot of times women, we are automatically born nurturers as women, and that's what we know. And sometimes I think as women, because we know we're nurturers, we try to nurture too much. And when nurturing too much, to me, brings hindrance on a man. Right. And sometimes with nurturing, not only do it bring hindrance, it also, you sometimes convey your expectations of what you expect a man to be. And it causes communication problems, or, it just put up barriers in a relationship. So as women, I think sometimes we have to allow a man to be a man. Mm-hmm. And remember, they're not our sons. They are our man. They're our husband. They're supposed to lead. So you have to allow them to lead. Now, within leading, if you feel that they're doing something wrong, that's where the communication comes in. Right. And a lot of times when we, and I can say this for myself, that I've been guilty of, is that, again, I expected my husband to be who I expected him to be based off an old season.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Now you preaching, girl. Come on.
So we have to understand in every season in your life, when you're growing, there comes change. Facts. But because I was growing this way and he didn't catch it, I assumed that he was supposed to have been at my level based off, okay, you in the household with me. These are our kids. This is that, this and that. And then I had to, then there becomes, I guess, that disconnect. Thanks. And then every time they say something, you aggravated because you expected them to know, like, dude, how you didn't know that? Like, what you doing? You're not looking, you don't see what I see? But it's the thing of, I didn't communicate, but I automatically assumed that he should have known, instead of me taking the role and say, hey, I asked you to do X, Y, Z. I see it didn't happen. Did you not understand what I'm on it? Did you not want to do it? Or was it not good timing? Those are the type of conversations that you need to have instead of just blowing up. And I was guilty of that.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, so I was guilty of it, and I had to do self-check for myself and like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect him to know if you didn't ask him.
Right.
You know, did he know something? It's okay with him being an adult, and you have to sometimes explain.
Listen, that's on point. That's on point. I want to kind of switch gears even before we hit with the young women thing, because I saw you said this earlier, and what y'all about to hear right now. If you got any young people in the room, you might want to tell them step out for a second. We about to get grown around here. Earlier, I heard you say that the reason why some of these men are not getting sex from their woman is because they're not helping them, because their woman is working a 9 to 5, how to take care of the kids, got to clean up and cook. Please speak on that.
Well, like I said, my brother, as I grew up with my grandparents, right? And my ideology when it pertains to marriage was everything that I seen growing up, right? My grandfather, the financier, my grandmother, cooks, clean, wash, you know, take care of the kids, et cetera, et cetera. In my opinion, that's not purpose living. It's not living according to your purpose. That's just getting by. You know what I mean? That's basic stuff. So, you know, and like I say, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying what God has done for me, because I've been broke.
Tell it.
But as my tax bracket changed and my environment changed, one of my brothers, that you know, he's way past 8 figures. You know, he was like, bro, I don't want my wife cooking and cleaning and washing and doing this and doing that. He said, bro, that take away from my time. He said, because if she doing all this, she too tired to take care of me.
Absolutely.
And I need mine.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so when he said that, I said, okay, that do make a lot of sense, because my trying to thought, you need to cook, you need to clean, you need to do this, because that's the way I was raised, right? And that's what I've always seen.
Yeah.
But, man, when we talking about kingdom living,
that's good.
When we talking about kingdom living, if you're a king, your wife need to live like a queen.
That's right.
When you ever seen a queen cleaning up something?
Right.
My God.
When you ever seen a queen in the kitchen? Now, somebody help me out.
No, you never.
You ever
seen one? I ain't never
Every
seen
time
one.
you see a queen, she giving orders, she laid back, she looking good. You feel what I'm saying? She getting fed, she getting fed back grapes by the people that work for them. Yeah. That's what I'm on. Yeah, we talking about kingdom living, but we scrubbing. Hey, her. How much? Cash out. Boom. Take her there. Boom. Man, you take care of everything. My woman gonna live like a queen. We calling women queens, but they living like slaves. Quit playing with me. I ain't living like that.
A lot of women, you know, we do live like slaves in the household because we have so much responsibility. And our children, no matter, I'm going to say this, our children, no matter how you're in a relationship or married, children always go to mama first, no matter how good their father are to them. They mama. And you know why? Because somewhere with the relationship between father and child, they had a disconnect to where they feel that daddy's not going to hold them down or do what's necessary. Daddy has failed them in more than one way to where they don't feel comfortable with relying on what daddy's word is. You know what I'm saying? So it puts a lot of more pressure on mothers.
Yeah, and, and that's subjective.
That's what I was about to say, because I know in my situation, I do everything.
But it is subjective.
When my son's sick, he come to me. Well, he already stayed with me, but I'm just saying, when he's sick,
but again, like I said, but you probably have not had that conversation or that situation where you have failed your son for not showing up.
But because you got to think about it.
Or having a conversation when you didn't.
I grew up without my mama and my daddy. So I'm like real big on keeping my word. And I used to be a gym teacher. So I was a teacher for 11 years, right? And the one thing that I understand about students was, and I learned this early, you can't say you're gonna do something and don't do it.
Exactly.
I learned that early as an educator, right? Yeah. And so I'm like that with my students. Well, I'm not teaching anymore, but when I was like that. If I said I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So when I had a child, and I know how it is to be disappointed.
Right.
I know how it is to be say I'm gonna pick you up and don't never come.
Right.
So I'm adamant. I take pride in being the father that I am to everything I say I'm gonna do, that I'm gonna do it. Everything.
And it makes a difference.
And just to piggyback off of what you said, Trey, even with my daughter, she'll be 25 next month. She's watching right now, Raven. Shout out to Raven. And so I think when you're raising children, sometimes it goes in cycles. This is what I mean. When she was younger, you know, I was the best thing in the world, right? Daddy, daddy, daddy. When she got to teenage years, because I had to be a little bit more hard on her, I could see where she pushed back a little bit.
Well, Doctor, hold on. Let me step in. You weren't being hard on her because you loved her and you understand what was best for her.
No, yeah.
And so you were trying to guide her in the way that she needed to go, according to Scripture. That's what that was. You weren't hard on her.
Definitely. And I was disciplining because in our role as parents, because, you know, as parents, one got to be bad cop, one got to be the good cop. Sometimes you have one parent, they play both. But since she had both, I had to play the bad cop, right? I had to be the one. I had to be the one that was, because her mother let her do almost anything, right? So, you know, but now her growing into 18, 19, 20, where she's at now at 24, be 25, I can see where it's come full circle. And we back to that relationship where, you know, she knows that I'm going to be there for her and do the best. I haven't always done everything right. I haven't always been perfect.
Of course.
You know, but I can see where she knows I got her back. Right.
But see, you don't even have to be perfect when you deal with kids, but you got to keep your word.
You gotta
keep your word.
I'm telling you, just keep your word. You good. They ain't worried about the perfection.
Yeah, no.
It's the keeping the word. That's
Just
why I
keep your
say
word.
somewhere down the line there was a disconnect between there's women that, you know, don't keep their word as well as mother. But as a parent, you just have to keep your word, because even if you don't execute it well, or whatever the mission with your child asked you, as long as you attempt it and they saw you attempt to just keep your word, then it's all good.
And you know,
kids don't really hold.
Even when you don't keep your word. Let's say you had that happen. Sometimes you got to come back and apologize. I've apologized to my child before. Because, you know, you have to, like Trey said, not have pride and ego all the time in situations. Learn how to communicate. And there may be some things that you say, hey, you know, I didn't get it right then. You know, I was going through some stuff. This is what happened. But I'm here now. I'm ready for it to, you know, flourish, and it is what it is.
And also, as parents, I think sometimes we take on too much. We have to really understand before we stop saying the quick yeses and think about it first, or what all you got going on.
Right.
Because sometimes you answer so quickly, and before you know it, you're like, golly, I'm not going to be able to do that. You know, now you just got to go back and recircle and revisit it and say, hey, you know, XYZ not going to be able to do it. We're going to do it this time. When you could have just said, give me a moment and we'll see about it. You know, my favorite thing, let me pray about it and see what the Lord say. Mine's asking. That's just a way of giving me a moment. Let me just think about it before I say yes, because sometimes you can quickly say yes and you over-promising and under-delivering.
Facts.
And we have some comments. Michelle Black says, there is no manual to parenting, but you be what you didn't have. Shelvin, Sandra Gardner said, you have to speak life into your mate, pray over him or her, and work as one, even in the ups or downs. She also said you got to do it together, and each of your needs are met. And so, you know, we have different people comment. I want you all to keep commenting. If you have any questions for Trey or even for Cornella, just let us know in the comments. We definitely want to be here. I want to get into Trey. We have a few minutes, and I want to get into this because I want people to know or see or get to know who you are. So I want you to tell your testimony, where you come from, how you grew up, those things, who you are as a person. Where did you get? Because let me say this, Trey, and part of this podcast that I've watched other podcasts, and what I want to do here when I bring people on, I want to give them their flowers. Okay, I want to let people know when they come here, because I believe sometimes even in the African American culture, we always say how proud and how good a person is after they die.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I want to give people their flowers while here, and I believe you have a gift of wisdom. That's a gift.
Yes, sir.
To be able to take stuff, discern stuff, and then say it in a way where people understand it.
Yes, sir.
It's no different than what I do every Sunday when I get up in the pulpit. And so that gifts, where was it nurtured? How did it come through? You know, because a lot of times with great gift comes from great pain. Mm-hmm. and people don't realize all you've been through. They jealous when you get on the stage, but don't realize what you had to do to get to the stage.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah. So I want you to talk about your testimony, where you come from. You know, how did you get to where you are now?
Well, my mom and dad were married when they had me and my brothers, and then they got divorced. They got divorced. I was so young, I don't even remember.
You from Dallas?
Yeah, from Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah, from Dallas, from Oak Cliff.
Okay.
Born in Parker. But my mom and dad divorced. I was too small to remember.
Okay.
Then my dad got custody of all of us. And so most probably women get the custody, but my dad got custody. So we moved with my dad, stayed with my dad to the fifth grade. To the fourth grade, because we didn't like the situation that we were in at my dad's house, because with him and my stepmother at the time. So we begged my dad to move my grandmother. So my grandmother stayed in Highland Hills. We was always over there anyway, off and on, especially on the weekend. So we ended up moving full time with my grandmother in Highland Hills. And so just being around in that environment, all of us fell into the drug life or whatever. So we all started selling drugs. And
what high school did you go to?
I went to Wilma Hutchins.
Oh, okay. You went to Hutchins.
All right.
I went to Hutchins. So yeah, got into
Next door neighbor.
Yeah, got into selling drugs and doing a robbing and just all the crazy mess that fools do, gangs and all that. So then the crazy thing is I almost got killed. Dude tried to kill me in front of my grandmother's house. And after that experience.
How old were you then?
I was like 19.
Wow.
I was like 19. 'Cause, I've been in a whole bunch of robberies and shooting and all that mess, but this one right here was like, he almost killed me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then I was just like, man, you know what? I'm finna give my life to God, And so that's when the preaching came. Like, I got saved when I was 19. I started preaching when I was 19.
Wow.
Square business. Because my grandmother was a pastor. My grandmother been a pastor since I've been knowing her. So she's still preaching. She 85, so
wow.
she's still preaching. So I had a praying grandmother for real. So, I started preaching. I did the preaching from 19 to 24. And so the crazy thing is how backslid it is that, and it's crazy though, it's crazy, deal with relationships. I was there's no lie. So while I was in ministry, I'm going to all the singles conferences, going to all the marriage conferences, and I just know the right thing to do is to get married,
right.
Because,
right.
I want to do my thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still do. I like sex, so I want to get married. So I like, bang. Well, I gotta get married if I want to have sex. I'm trying to do it. See, I've always been the type of person. If I say I live something, I'm gonna live it. Right. You know what I mean? I ain't with the being in the pulpit, smashing women, and all that. Right. That ain't me. If I say I'm gonna walk the walk, I'm gonna talk it. You know what I mean? If I say I'm gonna talk something, I'm gonna walk it.
Right.
So from 19 to 21, for sure, I was celibate, 100%. Never had sex with nobody, kept it 100. You know what I mean? Then after I had sex, I was 21. When I committed fornication, I went to my pastor. I said, Pastor, say, bro, I'm real. I said, I'm a real nigga. I don't say, this is where I was raised. I'm from the street, so, and I'm just getting into this thing, right? So I told him, I said, bro, I need to sit down. I don't need to be preaching nothing nowhere because I feel like a hypocrite. You know what I mean? So he sat me down, yada, yada, yada. Went back through it. Like I said, I'm going to all these single conferences. But so I boom, well, let me try to talk to the church girls. Now, this is a true story. All the church women that I like wouldn't talk to me because I couldn't take care of them.
Wow.
Square business. Honest God, truth. Would not give me the time of the day because I could not support them financially.
Wow.
I was a man of God, preaching, speaking in tongues, back, all that. I'm talking about walking the book all the way across the board. But the whole issue was I didn't make enough money. Put that on everything.
Wow.
That traumatized me as a Christian man. Because
Wow.
I'm like, I'm doing what the Bible tell me to do. And I'm pursuing all the church women. Wouldn't give me the time of the day. So get what I do. I go start dealing, let me try to deal with the little sinner women.
Right.
Let me go and deal with the heathens. You feel what I'm saying? So I go out there. They give me the time, give me attention, give me the time of the day, and everything. And so, because my goal is to get married, though.
Right.
That's my whole goal.
Right.
But what happened was, the truth be told, just me being unequal yoked with the women I was dealing with, it just led me astray. You know what I mean? Because I started having sex, and so I ended up getting led astray, and that's how I ended up backsliding. Then I just went right back to the streets. You know what I'm saying? So.
And how old were you then?
When I went back to the street, I was like 24,
okay.
25. Yeah, I got back in the street because I know I can make some good money. You know, like I'm bump this 9 to 5. Because when I was preaching, I was working at TXU. I was a meter reader, so I was working my 9 to 5 or whatever. So, yeah. Then I ended up getting married. I ended up meeting my ex-wife while I was in the streets, and she got me out the streets because I was talking about that a little earlier. Because she was like, I don't want to be around that. So I cared about it, and I loved her so much. She's just such a good woman. And I mean, I'm gonna give you some free game though. And I was straight, and I was selling dope. You know why I married that woman?
What?
Scrub in it. And I was straight in the street because she paid her tithes faithfully.
Wow.
That was the one thing about her.
Wow.
That I said I ain't. Even the women, I ain't never met a woman that pay her tithes faithfully.
And
she didn't miss.
And she didn't go to church every Sunday.
No. She wasn't even going to church.
I love that.
But she paid her tithes. I love that. I say the fact that you paying your tithes.
I love that.
You wifey. Yeah, you different.
I love that.
I ain't never met a woman that don't go to church regularly, but she pay her tithes faithfully.
I love that.
Never seen it. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna marry you, and that's who my son is by. My little boy by the one you be seeing. He by my ex-wife. So yeah, but then like I say, then after that, I went to the police academy. And then end up being a police officer. I started training.
For Dallas?
Huh?
For Dallas police?
No, I was trying to be a police officer, but so I went to Cedar Valley.
Okay.
So I put myself through the academy, and then while I was in the academy, it was this fine girl from Monroe named Tamisha Jackson. I'll never forget her name. I liked her, so I'm keeping it real with you. So she was like, would you train me? Because she seen how athletic I was. She was like, could you train my girl? Yeah, I'll train you. I'm saying it 100% because I'm trying to spend some time with her because I know if I get in a mind, it's a done deal. You feel me? You know what I mean? But
so that was the first person you trained?
That's the first person I trained, yeah.
Wow.
First person I trained, Tamisha Jackson. She a constable. She at the constable office right there in Lancaster.
So you turned that into a business?
That's how I started training. Wow. That's how I got into fitness. Yeah, so
you know that was the start of Trap Fitness?
Well, no, that wasn't the start of Trap Fitness. That was the start of me training. Training, period. And then I started doing my training. Then, before I started training, I was working as a substitute teacher. I was working as a substitute teacher. Then I got hired as a gym teacher. Then I was doing my gym teacher. I was a gym teacher by day, trainer at night. I didn't start Trap Fitness till 2017.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I didn't start that in 2017. And I started.
So before that, you were just training people like regularly, just training people?
Yeah, so I was just training regular people. Then I started classes around 2013. Mm-hmm. Then around 2018, 17 is when I met Earl Spence.
Okay.
That's when I started training Earl Spence. That's when my career.
The boxer.
Yeah, the boxer, the world champion. That's when my career just really took off. And then I started Trap Fitness because he only trained so many times a year. And so, he only had so many fights and he only trained so many times a year. I was like, well, let me do something in the meantime. And so I was doing a class called Blu-ray Cardio Sculpting. And so then I met Shamara. Shamara started coming to my class. And then she started helping me out. And I was like, well, shoot, we need to be business partners. You need to go and come on and start rocking with me. And then I changed the name to Trap Fitness and I started that. But I started Men's Viewpoint 2007, probably around about 2016, 2017. And I started that after my marriage because instead of therapy, I was using my podcast as a way of therapy. And that's how I started my Men's Viewpoint podcast. And so, out of my pain came my gain.
So and this is something else because...
And let me say that one thing. Don't forget your thought. But if I would have never got a divorce, I would have never started... I would have never started Men's Viewpoint.
Really?
If I would have never got a divorce, because remember, it came out of my pain because I just needed somebody to talk to. So if I would have never got a divorce, I would have never started my podcast. And financially, where I am in life, I probably wouldn't be retired at the age I'm at now, not having to work another day in my life.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow. You got something, Cornelia, before I go? Mm-hmm. So this interesting. I didn't even know you trained Errol Spence.
Yeah, I'm his strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, I knew that much. I knew
I didn't know
just
that.
by social media.
Yeah, wow. So, and when did that start? How long you been training him?
Like I said, the only fights I didn't. I started training him. I said around about 2017. No, probably. No, it was way before that. Because I trained him for 5 years, and then for 2 years, like the last 3 fights, when he fought Michael Garcia, Sean Porter, and I forgot who else he fought. I didn't train him them 3 fights, and Danny Garcia.
Okay.
But I trained him for Pacquiao, but he ended up with the eye injury, so that's why he didn't fight that fight.
Yeah. So world champion Errol Spence, by the way.
Yeah. I try to stay humble, man.
No, he's world champion. So we bump him up here. We encourage. We lift up here.
One of my best friends.
Okay.